Welcome to I was about to say the Knife Junkie podcast. This, of course, is Thursday night. So it's Thursday Night Knives. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, a Herman Knives knife, the Ishtar. I have one, and man, is it amazing. The new one from Jack Wolf Knives. And what's your second most important EDC tool? Of course, we know what your first most important EDC tool is. So what else can you not leave home without? I'm going to rule out phones and car keys and certain things like that, which are absolute musts. Want to know about that because I have a lot of these things right next to my desk here. I got Kubotans, I've got knuckle dusters, I've got neck knives, I've got tiny little knives, and all sorts of gadgety stuff over here that I never carry, but I love having. Have a good night. Have a knife day. How you doing, sir? A good flashlight, he says. A good flashlight. I have a good little O light on my key ring. So I know that if I have my keys, I always have a light. And if I have my bag, which I usually have, I got everything. Ground Fog, good to have you here, Ground Fog. Evening to you, sir. Fernando Salome, how are you, sir? Hello, Knife Junkies. Bob, Jim, and EDC tool. My EDC tool is a Hummer, always in my backpack. That sound. Wait. Yeah. Are you talking about the car and you have everything in there? Because some people treat their cars like their EDC bag. And I guess in a way mine is a little bit. We scale everything. You get home, that's where everything is. You get in your car, you've got a good cross section of stuff to survive. You walk around with your bag, you got stuff in there. You get to the office, you got stuff there. Marco, how's it going, sir? Evening all, he says. Well, evening to you, sir. Marco would be my first name as in my alias, if I needed an alias. Well, there, I said it publicly. Okay. OG Blades, good to have you here, Dave. Happy Thursday Night Knives, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, happy Thursday Night Knives to you. Second most important EDC tool, 3 more knives, of course. Yes. Yeah, I should have said fourth most important, I guess. Doug Bowl, nice to have you here, Doug. High Blade Warriors. I like that. High Blade Warriors. Hey, Bob and Jim, running back up. Running back up. What do you mean, Doug? What do you mean running back up? Let me know. Are you actually running right now? Are you hearing me in your earbuds? If so, heaven help you. Jacob Green, my glasses would be the most important EDC item. I cannot legally drive without them. Yeah, I hear you. I recently, it was about a year ago, I got a new pair of glasses, a new second pair of glasses, and a pair of prescription sunglasses, all of them progressive. And man, my life has changed ever since. I can't believe I only had one scraggly pair of glasses and an old pair of contacts that I never wore for like a number of years out of sheer laziness. Stupid. Will B, good to have you here, Will. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. I'm holding a sleepy 2.5-year-old while my wife puts her twin to bed. Oh, well, I'll keep it down then. Well, it's good to have you here, Will. And it's good to know that 2.5-year-old is protected in your midst with your 10 knives and no doubt your ferocious protective male instinct. Sword XXXY, good to have you here, sir. G'day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Good day to you, sir. Arizona EDC, hey, everyone. Hey to you. Hey, Sword, I still have your package. It's going out tomorrow. It's a day that I can actually go to the post office and fill out the forms I have to fill. Ordinarily, I have all the stuff on my computer. I can just run it down the hallway, but this, I got to go. So sorry for the delay. Sword XXXY, one run with the random giveaways 2 weeks ago now. Or no, I guess it was last week. Frankie Frank, hello, Bob, Jim, and the rest of you blade enthusiasts. By the way, it's all packaged up. What was the knife? Now I can't even remember. Oh, it was the TIE Fighter. The TIE Fighter. Very cool knife. Frankie Frank, good to have you here. Sorry, I interrupted myself in greeting you. Hello, Bob, Jim, and the rest of you blade enthusiasts out there. I'm in the kitchen slicing stuff up as I watch this. Oh, cool. That's that. I left one of the things I was going to show you tonight, a new kitchen knife, in the kitchen. Oh, well, that's all right. It's a Steve Kalari custom 7-inch chef's knife that I got for my wife, but we're all going to use it. I got it for her because it's AEBL and stainless, and she does not go in for the patina. So I'm always on earbuds, says Will B. All right, man. Well, it's kind of like I'm inside of your head then right now. Anyway, good to know that. Good to know that I'm coming through the years. Split and slices. Howdy, Bob, Jim, junkies. Second EDC beyond primary and secondary blade. Glasses and pen tie for glasses and pen tie for number 2. See, glasses are something I'm not going to consider an EDC. Yeah, of course, you got to have pants on too. We're not going to go that far. It's when I say EDC, these are things that I got away without carrying for a long time, and now I feel like I can't do without. Isaiah Pavlik, what up, Bob? Well, what up? What's up with you, Isaiah? Good to have you here, man. Craig Vincent, evening, folks. Craig, evening to you, man. Good to have you here. Mark Salva, good evening, y'all. Junk on. I like that. Junk on. We will indeed junk on, Mark. Yeah, I stopped reading the comments and suddenly my brain comes to a screeching halt. What I was saying about the Kalari Customs, I think I got all the way through that. So to the person who is now slicing and cutting stuff up in their kitchen, I love knowing that. What are you cutting? What are you making? It's funny because I listen to other people when I make our dinner, and it's always some very highly trained orator, or not orator, but presenter talking politics. So it's funny to think of my yammering voice in someone's ears as they cook, indeed, their meal. So let me know what you're cooking. Worksharp Knife Sharpener. Oh, yes, TheKnifeJunkie.com/worksharp. I had an evening at the pool right before coming here, and this was what I was carrying. I was inspired to carry this. This is the Fred Perrin neck knife. I was inspired to carry this because I've been carrying this Knives by Nuge primitive wicket so much, and I'm like, man, I love this small little knife. I should carry. No worries, Bob says Sword XXL. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Been carrying this little Knives by Nuge wicket. I decided I should carry this too. This is a great little knife. This Fred Perrin little Bowie, and it's so thin. I mean, it comes down to a paper thin edge. It's a great little knife, but it was fun to have on at the pool instead of something folding. Robert Strevin, good to have you here, Robert. Good Thursday evening, Bob, Jim, and all you junkies out there. My second EDC is probably my Gerber keychain splice. It's with me every day. I love that little multi-tool. The splice. Is the splice a one piece of metal that has a bunch of little angles and things that operate as tools? Or is that the shard? I might be thinking of the shard. Eugene Krabs, nice to have you here, Eugene. Hey, Bob, native 5 today, but carried the Mora Bushcraft and Skeletool on me while hiking through Utah and Yellowstone last week. Oh, man, that sounds amazing. I'm feeling stirrings of a trip next summer. I want to go to either one of the national parks. My parents took us to a bunch when I was a kid, and I want to kind of do the same thing for our kids before they fly the coop. My God, they grow so fast. OG Blade says, but in all seriousness, I carried a Kimber double barrel pepper spray. Oh, cool. A Volpe's third hand pocket stick every day along with my MSI. Oh, okay. Wait, carry a Kimber. So Kimber, like the firearm maker, or like the luxury 45 1911 company, right? Double barrel pepper spray. That sounds cool as hell. Volpe's third hand pocket stick. I know Volpe's, but I'm not familiar with that particular piece. Every day, along with my MSI. That's cool. Yeah, I like that. Impact weapon, chemical weapon. I always I have one of these on my desk at work. It's so friendly. No one knows what it is, but it's pepper spray. I got one here. My ladies all have one, and I have one ready for, just ready for walking on my dresser. I've never sprayed it though. That's what I need to do. I need to go out in an open field when the wind is at my back and spray that, just to get used to how much pressure you need, and all that stuff. Just never shot it before. Yeah. Well, I think maybe it's time for me to get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
In my front right pocket today, I had the Microtech SOCOM Bravo. I love this beautiful thing. This is the one made by Reich Knives in China. And here, let me get these super cool Pinkertons out the way. These are the first Microtechs made in China by Reich Knife. Now, they've had a second knife made by them, and that also looks pretty beautiful. That's the what is that one called? Someone help me out with that one. Pretty interesting look to that, but I'm a huge SOCOM fan, so I had to get this because this was something that was always made by Microtech, the Bravo, that is, in very small, specialized batches and way above my ability to afford. And I think oftentimes they were just the special Marfione, Anthony Marfione productions. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I was really psyched when this came within reach. I just haven't carried it in a while. One of the issues with it was that T20 pivot. Yeah, it's a nice big pivot there. That T20 pivot kept coming loose, and I didn't have a T20 bit. So I used something else that approximated it, and then I spooked myself, and I didn't want to, dent up the hardware. So I had to wait until recently, and I got the bit, and it's been nice and tight, and I love this knife. The clip is very tight, and it will destroy your pants slowly if you don't kind of sneak your finger under there and relieve some of the pressure. By the way, look at the jimping here. Really nice traction on this knife. Secondly, on me today, I had the Rosecraft Awanada. I haven't carried this one in a long time here. Let me sheath up these little blades before they cut me up here. Okay, so this the Awanada I had on me today, a very little and very light and inexpensive. I think on the Rosecraft Blades website, they're now like $12 a pop, or you can buy all 6 of them because they come in a variety of colors, and they are really handy, little, tiny, light slip joints. That's contoured G10. It's got a really good pull. It stays open very well. It just occurred to me this would be a great knife for one of these little Altoid tin survival kits. It would fit perfectly. Mine has a bunch of stuff in there right now, but so I had the Awanada on me, and I really like it. I kind of forgot I had it until I was searching for what I was going to carry today. I've been going for purple a lot. Next on me was the Agent 001, also purple. I just can't, of course, I can't get enough of this knife. I'm so excited about it and thrilled with it, and it feels so good. And he just did a bang up job making it. And I'm just, this is the knife of my dreams here, and I've been carrying it pretty much every day. This and the Nova 2. I've been just kind of alternating. I haven't carried much more than that. Love that jimping, love the double edge, love the handle and the texturing there, and that purple color I think is nice there. Had it on with this sheath, so it was riding right here on the front in the area right in front of my belt. And then lastly, I had some Dirk Pinkerton out. I had this in my pocket as my emotional support knife. My ESK today was a beautiful custom made Dirk Pinkerton broadhead. So little neck knife, little self-defense ring knife. He likes to use it the most. Dirk Pinkerton likes to use it the most in reverse grip like this. I like it kind of in forward grip, but in a fist like this. It's really feels great, but you can also put it like this and use it like a knuckle knife or a push dagger. And then it's got this beautiful handle here. This is GL Hansen and Sons G Carta of some sort. And yeah, love that little knife. So this is what I had on me today. Let me know. It's kind of a colorful group here, especially with that purple in the middle. Do you go matchy with your EDC? Do you do the blue everything or the purple everything or the brass everything? I kind of like when people do brass everything. But other than that, I pretty much avoid matching at all. What did you have on you? Let me know. I'm going to start putting these away. Doug Bull says, Bob carrying 2 SOG folders, Leatherman utility, and a Saber miniature pepper spray. Oh, nice. Funny you should mention SOG. I was listening to someone tell a story, and they mentioned their SOG Seal Pup. So I had to pull this out tonight. I love this thing. This is the Super SOG, or SOG Super Bowie. I got this probably like 17 years ago or something like that. That's OS 8, really nice hollow ground blade. At the time, you could get a lot of. Hey, wait. Sorry, Jim. Could you bring that back? I just sort of noticed his comment there. I was going to say good evening. Oh, Help with Gadgets. Good to have you here, Help with Gadgets. Evening, folks, he says. Evening to you, sir. Yeah, so they used to have a lot of these stacked leather handled combat knives I love so much. That's what I loved about SOG, but they do have some really cool folders. Let me know which ones you were carrying specifically folder wise. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door. Good to have you here, sir. Good evening, Bob. Today I'm carrying my old Cold Steel Black Talon 2. I added old. I'm not sure why. I'm carrying my Cold Steel Black Talon 2. Does a backpack count? Yes, it does, because I travel on the train to and from work, and I carry all my gear in my backpack, my lunch, my EDC gear, and yes, it does actually, because I would say that in general, my backpack is too. It comes kind of with me everywhere. Not everywhere, like I go into stores and I carry it, and not even every time I go on errands, but it's kind of with me for important stuff because I keep important stuff in there. So yeah, I would say I will let that go. I will accept that. Yeah, backpack, because it kind of has everything in it. Frank says, my first EDC would be my big ass pocket knife. Which one? Let me know, please. My second tool would be my Bowie. Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, I'm rocking my Condor Undertaker. I love that one. I've never gotten that, and it's always kind of been on my list, but I always shy away because I hear the sheath was very finicky and took a little bit of doing to get to be really good. But Condor sheaths, once they break in, tend to be awesome. I love that Undertaker Bowie. I think it looks great. Will be. Matrix is the other right collab. That's right. And it's got the little, that cool little fob, doesn't it? Sword XXXY says, my second most important carry is my phone. Yeah. Phone is almost on that list of necessaries, but I guess we should let that go. It is true. That was probably everyone's second most. I was wondering the other day, would I rather lose my wallet or my phone, and I was ashamed at my answer. Angry Tom says, I just got an O knife Rubato 4. That's a good knife. With the stars and stripes and aluminum scales. It's nice. We had that one here and gave that away last year because they sent that to us last July. That is a great knife. It had a great crossbar lock, as I recall. Isaiah says, that is sweet. Reminds me of a few of my Effin Grow blades. I don't have any Effin Grow blades. Effin Grow, they do a little bit of the copying here and there. Right? We were talking about this. We talked about this last time. So that could be why it reminds you. Or this look here, especially this look on the Bowie with this double peak is so wicked. You know, it's been copied many times. Not just copied, but emulated. I have. Let's see. Did I? No, I didn't on the Nova 1. I was that was one of the designs I wanted to do, sort of a SOG, but it wasn't long enough to express those lines well enough. But yeah, that double peak is it just looks cool. OG Blade says Reich also made the Annex. That's the one I was thinking about, the Annex, or that's the shape I'm thinking of. I like that annex with the thin handle and the big fat blade. It's pretty neat. Neat. Why am I using the word neat? 1974 called Bob. Doug Bowles says, Bob, if you have never experienced pepper spray, go outside and soak a piece of paper and inhale. Well, I know you're former law enforcement, right, Doug? Am I right? Maybe I should do that just to get used to it. Who knows? I might super glue my hands to the road someday to protest something. Just kidding. I'll never do that. Help with Gadgets says, I carried the Micro Jimbo. I love that knife. The Shark Cub. I'm not fascinated. I'm interested in that knife. The Sweeney. Beautiful. The Kubi Royal. Love that. This is a great lineup here. Oh, and a small fixed blade on my belt. Well, what small fixed blade? You can't just say, oh yeah, and a small fixed blade. You got to let me know what the small fixed blade is, please. Please. OG Blades, Dave says, today's carry, RMJ Corbin, 3V Syndicate Karambit. That's what it is. I was like, which one is this? Because I know you just posted it. That's cool. That looks like it has a very comfortable ring to me. The Concept Hinterland by Morgan Cones. The Iron Fly YOLO Button Lock. Iron Fly YOLO Button Lock. I have no idea what that is. YOLO, like you only live once, button lock. Kunwu, sorry, Pulsar XL. That's a cool knife. Bastinelli. This is where the jealousy, the green-eyed monster is starting to creep in. Bastinelli Apocalypse. I can never quite say that, but I love that knife. The Beyond EDC Guerra Pinkerton design. Very nice. That's the one with the button, right? The button lock or the pivot lock. And the Night Core EDC 27. Wait, Guerra. Is that the one? Let me know. Is that the one, Dave, with the lock right on the pivot? I know that he made one with them. It was like a Warncliffe. Josh 33025. Hi, he says. Well, hello, Josh. It's good to have you here in that peaceful lake you got there. Isaiah says that knife you created is definitely something to be proud of. Thank you. This one right here. What, this little guy right here? It was too easy, man. All I had to do was draw a Bowie blade that I thought looked awesome on this handle, because that handle already existed for the EDC Tonto that Hogtooth made. Right, yeah. This thing had me hooked for over a year. I was carrying this all the time. I was like, hey, man, can we do a project together? Isaiah says, oh, the Pinkerton is pokey for real. Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at that. That is seriously. You could hear Stasa saying it right now. Okay, Frankie Frank says, Bob, quick question. Where can I order one of those TCAL Agent 001s, and would it be available in purple? Thank you, sir. Okay. Well, first of all, the way TCAL knives, when you order your knife from them, you have your choice of 27 different handle materials. So you can get a couple of different purples. That swirly kind I have, and then the layered kind. As for where to order it, you got to order it from TCAL Knives. And I was just talking with Tim of the T. He's the T in TCAL. Well, and he is a lot of people want this knife in there jamming to get these out. So I believe they're still I think for a minute they were sold out, but I think he has a bunch more on the way. So anyway, go to the TCAL Knives website, and also it helps to follow them on Instagram if you do that, because they announce a lot of their drops there. They announce all their drops there, and they also do a Sunday live show that I really I tune into every once in a while for a little bit. It happens to be during a time that Jim and I are recording, so I don't really actually see much of it, but they do a lot of announcing when they're releasing stuff there too. I know my brother ordered one, and he's like, "Where's my knife?" Kind of jokingly, and I was like, "Dude, they're a small and growing very fast operation, so they're working as fast as they can, and they'll get it to you. So do go to TKL Knives, and definitely I highly recommend the purple. I don't know why, but it just, to me, it's very, very pretty. And here it is with another burl like handle. So this is the woodland burl, I think, and that's the purple. They used to call it burl. I'm not sure if they're still calling it that. Pretty much everything I have out is that, but there's also the layered kind where, I mean, this is G10, so it's layered, but where each layer is an individual color. So black, purple, black, purple, black, purple. And then when they mill in these grenade grip little divots, it reveals the different layers. Very cool. But yeah, I've been totally into this swirly G10. It's so nice, and it feels, I don't know, man, it feels denser or something. I really like these, the G10 they use. Greg Vincent, today was mostly all Cold Steel XL Voyagers. Love it. Just to see if I could. Tonto, drop point. I wish the drop point, which I like a lot, weren't the only Cold Steel XL Voyager with the jimping, because they would all benefit from it. And I kind of wish the drop point was full flat ground also, like all the other ones. And it would be more barong-like to me and would have more shearing power. But I'm not here to criticize. Clip point, Vaquero, serrated Vaquero. Very nice. That's a great lineup. I also carried my 8010, my 8020.5, my Lucky 2 is one of those blades serrated, and the Kershaw Culpeper. Very nice. I like that Culpeper. Will B says, Olamic Soloist. Oh, God. Will B's Olamic Soloist. I know I'm going to go on about it again, but he sent me pictures of it. And it's this kind of green, except with rock patterns. And so every peak of the rock pattern has a different worn look to it. Man, it's beautiful. Anyway, Olamic Soloist, Spartan Harzy Folder 4-inch, Microtech Hera 2 Recurve, Microtech Amphibian, Miguron Valona, TKL Night Stalker CQC, Olight Baton 3, Baton 3 Pro Max, and the Keras Bolt V2. Man, that is enviable carry. Microtech Hera 2 Recurve. That sounds super awesome. I like that Microtech Hera. And then the other Microtechs, I approve. I don't do color coordination in my EDC. Will says, because I'm a man. And I'm with you, sir. No, I'm just kidding. Reverend Jim Lander, good to have you here, Jim. Reverend Jim, howdy, all you fellow junkies. Well, howdy to you, sir. Sometimes, actually, when I do find I've gone matchy, if you will, I only say that because that's kind of what my wife says. I'm always kind of like, well, look at me. At least I'm not carrying two knives from the same brand. You know what I mean? Split and Slices says, Carrie is a Tempest Knives Fractus. Which one is that? Oh, that's a brand new one, right? Off-Grid Cayman XL. Very nice. And the Rosecraft Appalachian Jack in a Jovo slip. Tempest Knives Fractus. I think that's his new one, but which one is it? Because I think he just came out with a fixed blade and with a new folder. But anyway, Byron, that sounds awesome. Doug Bowl says, Bob, carrying my 35-year-old SOG sidewinders in front pockets. How cool. Yeah, retired law enforcement officer. I thought I'd remembered that, but that's cool. Those sidewinders were cool, and I have the small one. I can never remember what it's called. Like I can't remember, but it's got the steel bolsters and the grippy checkered kind of rubber handle and the SOG blade. It's got that little peaked double peak Bowie. Stephen Clayton Jr., good to have you here, sir. Good evening, everyone, he says. Well, good evening. Stephen, I hope you got your dick pic from Wingard Wearables, from the product that you were asking about, because the moment, like the evening after you asked, they went live. I believe I sent you a thing. Angry Tom says, that SOG knife is beautiful. And you said you got a 17 years ago. Is the quality better seen 17 years ago, or would it be better today? Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think they probably spend special attention on these knives because they're a little bit different from mostly what they do, and they probably make them in smaller numbers. That said, when I got this one, let's see, 2008, 2009, I would say something like that. So I don't know. Is that math correct? But when I got this, they were making a lot of different knives in this category. The government, the agent, they had a number of them. Just different cool handled ones. And what's his name? Nothing Fancy collected a bunch of them, and that's what got me into these. Help with Gadgets says the small fixed blade was a custom gifted to me by Mr. Eddie. Oh, okay. That sounds cool. Well, obviously, as you know, I like unique and one-of-a-kind fixed blades for sure. The Garrett is a liner lock claw blade. Okay. Oh, yes. Right. And it has kind of a tall spine area with maybe a fuller or something. Yes. Yeah, I think I remember that knife. KF Boston, good to have you here, KF. Happy Thursday, people. Well, happy Thursday to you. That's the beginning of the weekend. Steve the Ripper, good to have you here, Steve. Picked up one of those thicker clipper Tontos. Oh, cool. The hollow on the thing is insane. Really impressed by it. Yeah, mine's over there. Yes, it is. I actually took that the other night and was just stabbing paper with it. I had sliced some paper with it and was amazed by it, but just stabbing it, I couldn't believe it's almost a 90-degree angle at the front, but it went into the paper like it had a dagger point. It just was so sharp, even though that's flat. It's that front chisel part is kind of a flat grind. That back, I don't know. Yes, I'm very impressed with it too. I'm going to try and have Brent on the show next weekend because we're giving away the Thickatros to the patrons here. Could you put the camera on right here, Jim, for a sec? Just want to.
Adventure Delivered, your monthly subscription for hand-picked outdoor, survival, EDC, and other cool gear from our expert team of outdoor professionals. TheKnifeJunkie.com/battlebox.
This is the Baldman knife and tool, thicker clipper Tonto. Let's see. And it is hollow ground there, and it is so spectacularly thin and sharp, but it's also a 1/4 inch thick here. So it's a really pretty unique knife. And this is the one I was saying I was jabbing into paper. I had it gripped Picol style and jabbing it into paper, and it was barely, it was going all the way through, but barely like disrupting it. It's so thin. It just made these discrete little slices. Pretty amazing. Let me put these away so I don't have too many of these sharp implements open at once. And then this is what we're giving away next week to some lucky gentleman junkie. And it is another Baldman knife and tool knife. This is the Thickatros, a 1/4 inch thick version of their Albatross model. And it is really cool. This one, it just feels really good in hand. I could see how this could be a great all-around EDC knife. Even at that super thick, it's not super thick, it's just a 1/4 inch, but even at that very thick for a small EDC measurement, it gets really thin. And, that grind is just, it's really nice, consistent, and somewhat wedge-like, but almost comes to a zero edge there. So just wickedly sharp. And then it uses this handle material that I have on this, which is layered G10 and rubber, a mild, sticky rubber. And so you get a little bit of that rubber feel and then a bunch of the G10 feel. And I really like it. I love it on this smooth, and it feels nice on this with that sort of pattern milling, that Anzo pattern. You can feel the rubberiness again, but it's not sticky or tacky. So yes, awesome knives. So if you're interested, become a gentleman junkie and you might win that thing. It is a super cool knife, and I've been loving watching Brent Smith of Bald Man Knife and Tool. His skills when I met him were freshly budding, but like really impressive. And a few years out, he's doing awesome stuff. Okay. Okay, I showed that. So let me show this. Where is it? I do this all the time. I lose stuff here. So I wanted to show you the pre-order for the Nova 2 is open, and I'm going to show you the Nova 2 with a couple of other hogtooth knives here. So there it is with the Nova 1 prototype, which is a little bit different from the Nova 1 productions. Definitely that changed, that huge logo. Here it is with the Mini Ruffian. And then here it is with the EDC Tonto that started the whole thing. Love that. So this handle is really what it's all about. It's so comfortable. That very simple handle shape is extremely comfortable, and the rounded features are great for in the waistband carry. I unfortunately carry a little extra back in the muffin top area. And when you have something that's real sharp and jaggedy, and that's where you're carrying your knives, I carry my knives back there like half the time, back there meaning like right about here. And something like this, a handle like this, is more gentle on the sides, on the extra soft parts. So really the handle is what carries the day with this knife. Well, your hand is what carries the knife, and then you have this incredibly wicked, very thin behind the edge, deep hollow ground, 154 cm acid stonewash blade that contrasts against that ivory micarta. I'm thrilled with how this one has come out. And if you want it, you can go to the store.knifejunkie.com, or you can go to thenifejunkie.com/Nova2 and check it out. And just know that if you are interested in buying it, that it is handmade. Everything about it is handmade, except the blanks are cut out by water jet. But everything else is hand done, so it'll take a little while. And it's also not an inexpensive knife, so that's why it costs that much. Someone's hand making it. It's a custom knife, and I'm making a little money on it too, hopefully, to recoup my cost. Last time, the Nova 2 was an experiment. We'll call it an experiment, and certainly in all aspects, including financially. So anyway, Eugene Krabs says, do we EDC shoes, or do shoes EDC us? Oh, philosophy aside, second most used EDC is a watch. Yes. What kind of watch are you an old-fashioned watch guy? Are you still analog? Or do you wear one of those death squares on your hand? I'm just kidding. I don't like the iWatch. I get it. You know, the Garmin Special Forces watch, that's kind of cool and everything. But I'm generally not into them. I generally just like analog watches. But what I really don't like is the Apple Watch. I think I just don't like it. Just don't like it. I remember someone once telling me about feng shui, and how having a turned off TV screen in a room, big black screen, is like terrible. It like absorbs energy and sucks, all this woo woo. And it is true. I don't like it. It's the same thing when it's on the wrist. And plus, what about peeking on someone's wrist to get the time? Can't do that with an iWatch unless you make them move. And then you'd have to like awkwardly grab their hand or something. So what kind of watch? I'm curious. He's like, I wear an iWatch, you asshole. I'm like, oh, sorry, man. Stephen Clayton says, Scourge. Oh, yeah. Scourge. I almost said Scrooge. TCal Knives, Agent 001. Thank you, sir. The Combatant, the Warthog. Those are both also really cool. The TS87, the FLN. Only 2 of them today. You have 3, I know. Pardon me, the Guardian, the Night Guard, the Night Stalker CG, the FMF. I love the FMF. It's like a buoy. The Accomplice, the Gideon. What's the Accomplice? the Gideon V3, the MR1. Very nice. Midgard Messer Mini Axe, the Crudo Snag Bit. That's a cool one too. I should have asked to check that out when I saw you at Blade Show, if you had it anyway. The SD5 and the Micro Dick Pic. All right, man. All right. Glad to see you got that. I love that. And the size is perfect on that. And that is what she said. Angry Tom says that Nova 2 is awesome. Also very pokey. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, very pokey and slashy too. That's a if you had to slash, for instance, that straight edge is just nasty. Have a Knife Day says, aha, I am now here. Well, sir, it is a pleasure to have you back. You were here earlier. Did you have to leave? Isaiah says, I actually had my Mossy Oak fixed blade, all black. Wait, Mossy Oak. All black, 8.5 inch and 7CR7 MOV steel. Also in my left pocket. Sorry, my eyes are getting super dry. I think it's too much chlorine in the pool. These kids have to learn. And left pocket, a Kershaw Barstow. All black, and my Victorinox Spartan black onyx. Okay, so all black. This is all black doesn't seem bad when it comes to matching up. The 7CR17 MOV steel. Unfamiliar with it. It's easy to make an assumption about it, but I've had the outdoor knives with 3CR 13 MOV. I guess it's 3CR 13. It's 3CR. I can't remember what the MOV is. I think it's 13. And it is outstanding. It's very tough and it holds its edge for a long time. It's a better steel than 8CR, in my opinion, for that purpose. TKL is making more Agent 001s. Excellent. Yes. I know he's got to put some of his a little more elbow grease into it these days. Craig Vincent says, for tools, I always carry a triple jet butane lighter. Ooh, that's nice. A mini multi-tool and 2 generic mini flashlights. Those are for the people around you who need them. If I'm walking after dark, I carry my Mataminko FW1, which literally throws a beam a mile. Whoa, damn. Just blind. Yeah, you can really hurt people with light as long as you can make them look. But if they're coming at you, they're going to need to look. Reverend Jim says, only carried 2 today. An auto Benchmade Osborne. Ooh, that sounds cool. And a buck 110 with titanium. And I'm guessing S35 VN. Agent Clayton. Stephen Clayton says Agent 002 Warncliffe should be releasing around the 1st of August. I got mine out here. He's talking about this little honey. This has been getting a lot of play around here. It's been getting a lot of work time. I know I've told everyone about the work I've done at our pool just with my wife, and this came in so handy, especially this as a percussive surface, because these tiles we were putting together needed that. But also this blade is just really a great working blade. I know it's tactical and definitely will excel at that. Any grip you can hold this handle, by the way. This will excel in a tactical role, but as a working knife, this thing is awesome. I love it. And I carry it like a Viking on my back. Isaiah says, I also didn't know about Effin Grow. Dang, I got 4 different blades from that. It's not a huge deal. Here, you know what it is? First of all, it depends. Sometimes you're just learning about certain brands and then you're like, oh, this is a great design, and you get it, and you look at the rest of their catalog. Like Effin Grow does things that look just exactly like a Strider, but then they have other designs that are unique. Well, just do the unique designs. They've got some cool unique designs, but so yeah, don't sweat it. Dave sent me a Microtech clone. It says Microtech all over it and the whole 9 yards, but yeah, I just keep it at work. Have a knife day says, by the way, Dave, I love that thing. It's I know why you got rid of it, but it's pretty cool. Have a knife day says, it was good talking with you earlier this week. Indeed, it was on the phone. It was great catching up with you. KF Boston says, today's carry. I always do this. Oh, Monkey Edge. Is that Monkey Edge? Frag pattern, SNG 3V. Ooh, very nice. And 15V. Oh, that's the BBB PM2. Very nice. KF Boston. That's like classic and classy, like high end carry. Very nice. Not seeing as many people carry Striders as they once did. They're expensive and harder to come by, and I don't think people get rid of them as much. It's like houses now. People aren't getting rid of them. They're hard to come by, and they're way too expensive. The Hera 2 has that new really smooth action. It's the best action I've felt on an OTF. I haven't tried a Hawk Deadlock. That Hawk Deadlock is pretty amazing. And you could see how someone could get spoiled with something like that. But at the same time, I think at a certain point, I think you could easily have all three. I could have all three. It doesn't matter. Mr. Greg T, good to have you here, Mr. Greg. Good evening, he says. Good evening to you, sir. You're saying all three what? And I was thinking about the Ultra Tech action I have, which is old and difficult, and then the new Hera, and then a Hawk. I would take them all and then just compare them all the time. Have a Knife Day says, I got done getting a massage, but I am carrying my black Cold Steel AD10. Yeah, I could use a massage. I've been saying that for about 13 years now. Have a Knife Day says, I did receive my Bearing Made, copper S-Guard Bearing Made knives. Just look them up. They are so beautiful. Copper S-Guard with copper black micarta spacer sandbar buck handled fighter on Tuesday. Oh my gosh. And the sheath in a frog style so I can take it off when I get to my truck. Oh my God. Oh, I can't wait to see this. Did you post this yet? S-Guard fighter with stag handle and micarta. I know what you're talking about, like micarta towards the pommel and then the stag. I think they do that a lot. Oh, that sounds like it's going to be awesome. And it's a fighter. I like it. I like when people are unabashed about the kind of model they're making. This one is a fighter. Angry Tom's Hat says, any idea for an EDC blade for my wife? Something basic, beginner. I was thinking a Spyderco, maybe something along that lines. Ideas for an EDC blade. Okay, for a second I was thinking you said fixed blade, but I will say beginner fixed blade if she carries a bag, and get her a CRKT minimalist, the little neck knife, the little 3-finger fixed blade knife. It fits everybody's hand. It's small, it's cute, it's unthreatening. It's handy. It's discreet. You could also use it if she needed to self-defend, but it doesn't look like much. And they're cheap as hell. And if it were something that she would use for self-defense, heaven forbid, it would be something she could, because if she's not much of a knife person and it's a folder, she's gonna struggle in a moment of, like everyone, constantly in a struggle, in a physical struggle, and with like an adrenaline dump, and you're freaking out, manipulating a flipper and getting it ready to go might be less easy than it is when you're just chilling, hanging out, having a beer, doing this. So fixed blade, I would say, for a very beginner, and think about the minimalist. Cheap, a good number of different blade designs, fits everyone's hands. Those three super finger grooves, they fit everyone's hands. And like I said, cheap, she loses it, no big deal. It's like $20. Just an idea. Split and Slice, it says, yes, please. Thickatros. Kudos, Brent. Yeah, at BMKT. Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a very nice guy. Mr. Greg T says, Bob, wanted to get your opinion. I'm interested in a Medford mini slim MIDI. I had one of those and it was really cool, and I do regret getting rid of it. Do you have any experience with that knife? Yes, it was very cool. I do regret getting rid of it. I like large folders. Do you think the knife is too small for me? Yes, I do. I do. It was a little bit too small for me. That's partially how I got rid of it. Because I can't remember what I was gunning for, but I knew I could get a pretty penny with that knife. And it was one that I didn't carry in prime position because I like a big knife. So that said, that's kind of how I feel about it. You might be a little bit Luminox. Yes, sir. Luminox. You might be a little let down with the size, but it's a great knife. It is a great knife. And I'm not hugely into Medfords, but that one was pretty awesome. And the one I had was a looker as well. It was anodized blue, I believe. Jacob Green, I exclusively wear analog watches. Good man. I'm currently wearing an Invicta Pro Diver. You know, I've never had an Invicta. I've heard of them. I think I need to check them out. It's a cool name, Invicta. Angry Tom says, I like that Nova too because the tip is right in line with the handle, right in the middle. That's awesome. Yes. So unlike a Wharncliffe or Sachs or sheep's foot style blade, this one is more like a Kiradashi. So if you put the spines in parallel with one another, spines of the handle parallel, they both have the benefit of the straight edge. This one just has the benefit of the point in the center. This one has the benefit of the point down low, so it's even easier to use just the point in pulling cuts. And also you'll get a more accelerated cut by the time you get to the tip on a slash with an edge like this. But this one, no matter how you have it oriented, you have your point ready for a thrust. Whereas with this one, not as much because the tip is optimized for pull cuts rather than thrusts. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for noticing. Sorry for the emotion tonight. Mark Salva says Kaiser Beyond CRKT Foltz Mini Katana. Okay. I was about to say, see, this is it, because CRKT is the one that makes the Minimalist, and Alan Foltz was the guy who designed it. Oh, and the cool thing is, I'm going back to that Minimalist. If she ends up loving the Minimalist and wants another one, you can always get a custom one from Alan Foltz for for a decent price for a custom knife, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, We Banter and Gerber Suspension Multi-Tool and the CRKT Razzle. The Razzle is cool. The Razzle is like an old school version of this kind of with that straight chisel tip, except that's a totally 90-degree on the Razzle, but also, just the benefit of the chisel and also of the hollow grind. Doug Bull says, Bob, perhaps my most used EDC is my mini-sized hand sanitizer, also used to disinfect any small cuts or abrasions. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. A little tube of, here, look at this. Here, look at this. In my little Doug Ritter survival tin that I'm putting together. The Doug Ritter knife is down in the bottom, but I put super glue in there and a Band-Aid, but the super glue is so good for cutting up, for closing up cuts. I didn't believe my mom when she told me that years and years ago. I'm like, that'll get in your blood and poison you, and you'll die. But of course, that's what super glue apparently was first made for, or it came out of research, I think, during the Vietnam War, for quick ways to close wounds. Now, I know one of you guys out there knows the real story. Please drop it in the comments. Ant of Egypt, nice to have you here, Ant of Egypt. Just got home from work. Well, good. I'm glad you had a good work day. Or I'm glad your work day. I'm glad you're home. Let me just say that. Been carrying the American Service Knife Jefferson, speaking of Medford knives, the past few days. Great second EDC tool. All right. American Service Knife. Yeah, I've been interested in that for for about a year now. So I think Blade Ogre first mentioned that here. Eugene Krabs says, I rock the Casio World Time AE 1200. It served me well from deep woods to mountaintops to office. How cool. Is that a Casio with the solar Casio that taps into the world clock or something like that? Jacob Green says, that's my favorite one so far. So many people concern themselves with pocket jewelry that they forget the basic knife can cut the same. Yeah, that's right. Wait, which one's your favorite? Which one's your favorite now? Now I'm not sure which knife you're talking about, but yes, I hear you, and I'm totally guilty of the pocket jewelry. As a matter of fact, I have some to show you here in a minute that just was sent to me, but my pocket jewelry, yes, it is that, but it's more pocket tactical jewelry. It has to have a tactical bent to it, but yeah, I'm with it. Burnt Toast, nice to have you here, Burnt Toast, and to see your face. Evening all. Today I had my tactile knife company Osprey. Oh, that's nice. Jack Wolf Midnight Fix and Protect Godson. Ooh, Burnt Toast. I like the cut of your jib, sir. Very nice, Carrie. The Godson has always had my eye, as has the Godfather. A perfect knife, I think, for reverse grip fighting, because either way you put it, if you're used to Bacall fighting with the tip down and the edge in, or you're used to that sort of standard ice pick grip with the tip down and the edge out, you get the same exact experience because it's all symmetrical, and that blade has no belly and it tapers, right? Not much of a belly to speak of, and it tapers abruptly. It just seems like a great assassin's tool, and I guess that's kind of why they call it the Godson. Justin Wolf, nice, Justin. 3CR is 420J2. Basically, only gets slightly hard. Yeah, the Black Mule Bowie made by Rough Rider. Holy mackerel! Whatever they did to that 3CR, maybe they, maybe they had some witches in and they did a spell on it. It is some of the best ever, because I should preface that by saying, I don't beat around too many of my knives, but this one surprised me with how long it went in terms of still being able to cut paper after doing rough stuff with it, like pounding through kiln dried wood and that kind of stuff. Justin Wolf says, my Effin' Grow SMF clone is better made than my actual SNG. Oh, that sucks. Is it? Oh, well. Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. Isaiah says, yeah, I have never heard of that steel either, but it's on the box. I can tell you it feels, throws, and can baton great. If needed, it's a little big knife. Oh, yeah, I have no doubt about that. The royal we sneer at 8CR13 MOV, but for me personally, if all my knives were made of that, I might not even know the difference, honestly, except during sharpening. But I would have to use them enough to dull them. And I have never pushed 8CR to the limit. I've dulled 8CR somewhat, but I'm not a hard user like a lot of people are, so I am not, I have no room to sniff down my nose at 8CR, except if it's being charged for inappropriately. Angry Tom says, do you have a TCAL that would compare to your Nova 2? No. I have this one, and then I have, hey, Jim, can you go wide on this real quick? When it comes to TCAL, this one right here, and this is the kind of layered G10 I was talking about before. This is the closest, I guess, somewhere between these two is the closest. This is the Guardian. Is that what this is called? Yeah, the Guardian. And man, it is a wicked blade. And I haven't carried this one in a while, but it is just nasty, and it's meant for gouging, tearing, stabbing, splitting. It's strictly about knife against flesh. If you if you ask Tim, he'll tell you. And this diamond shaped tip is just wicked, and these triple edges are wicked. Very different knife from this, especially the blade geometry, actually, because this is audaciously, this is like all flat until right here, and then you have two bevels. You have a bevel and then a relief edge. So not for cutting thin slices of salami or anything like that. This is for self-defense and making big holes in people, basically, to put it bluntly. But it's a similar profile. Let's see. Frankie Frank says, I got a Strider from 2009 fixed in mint. I was told it was worth several G's, and yes, I will hang on to it. Wait. It's a fixed blade, or you got one that was fixed? Oh, fixed in mint. Okay. Yeah, those Striders are the fixed blades are pretty sweet. There's a bit of a cult of Strider, and I think it's an aging cult. And I am that demographic. I'm not saying that those people are getting old, because I am that age. But it's funny when you go by the Strider booth at Blade Show. It's a lot of guys who look like kind of ex-commandos hanging out there, or just kind of older dudes who look like they've been collecting knives a long time. Todd Carr says, evening, everyone. Well, Todd Carr, evening to you, sir. Will B says, the Artisan Sea Snake. Yeah, that is a great small fixed blade for a woman too. Yes, it is. And it's inexpensive, and it's got great ergonomics, and it's got a very thin, slicey Warncliffe blade. And Warncliffe blade is great for utility and self-defense. Yeah, that's a great idea, the Sea Snake. As a matter of fact, I need to get me a Sea Snake. I've been saying that for years. I need to get myself one. They're only $40. That's an awesome suggestion. Yep. And yes, look into that too. Angry Tom says, I have a couple of those CRKTs, but I'm not giving her mine. All right, well, check out the Sea Snake. That is a cool one. You'll get one for yourself, maybe. You'll look at it. It'll be like a his and hers, because I think it comes with a green handle and a satin blade, and I think it comes in an all black version, or at least it did. That was a dealer exclusive. I don't remember. Have a Knife Day says, I have not as of yet made a video of the bearing made. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we will keep our eyes peeled. And I just saw that Byron, that's Splitting Slices, put up a video yesterday. I think I haven't had a chance to watch that one, but I saw a couple of cool knives in there, and I want to see. I think you're doing some comparison in that one. I want to check that out. Burnt Toast says, I just got a thicker clipper. It's funny you should say that, because I just picked this up and I was just looking at it. Right as this came up. I just got a thicker clipper after watching your videos. Oh, awesome. And I'll say awesome because that makes me feel good, because I've represented his knives well, and they deserve it, because they're great. Splitting Slices says, gotta go early. Thanks, Bob. Jim, bye all. Byron, have a fine evening, sir. And I just mentioned you. I'm looking forward to checking out your latest Splitting Slices video. Have a great weekend, sir. Anthony Kitchen. Good evening, Bob. Good evening to you, Anthony Kitchen. I'm enjoying my new stovepipe. Okay. This is the Kingdom Armory designed Spyderco. That is so cool. The action for me is another level from the Schlitz series. I know you're talking about this guy, the guy who did the Spidey chef, Marcin Sleesh. I'm hoping to get an Agent 2 soon. Very cool. Hang on one second. Good evening, Bob. Enjoy the stovepipe. Okay, I gotta see that knife, man. It's such a beautiful knife. Look up the stovepipe if you guys are interested. And I think Kingdom Armory, he just makes some really, really fantastically beautiful knives. Mr. Greg T, thank you so much, man. Thank you for answering my question. That's why I'm here. You don't have to pay me $9 for it. Thank you, or $10 for it. But Thank you so much. And I will salute you with something special. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Have I had this one? I don't think I've used this one recently, or maybe I have. But in any case, this is an early Douglas Esposito attention to detail mercantile A2D. Now he only works on these beautiful folders, but he used to make beautiful fixed blade knives, and this is his fighter model. Came in a medium and a small, and I had to get this medium. And he used to live, he moved out of state, but he used to live somewhat close by, and I went to his jiu-jitsu studio where he taught people how to mangle others. He's a former Marine, and man, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He could do a lot of mangling, but he chooses to channel his energies into beautiful knives. So this one here is S35VN. That is a nice thin hollow grind, and it's hollow ground up on top. Had him sharpen that for me, and beautiful crown spine with I love that big jimping. And then of course liners of copper and a really nice faux tortoise shell. So one of the coolest knives I own. This was, I think, my very first custom knife, and I got this for what would now this would cost a whole lot of money now. I've seen his small fixed blades go up for sale, and they go for ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying ridiculous like they're not worth it, but they go for a lot of money. So I'm very pleased I got this when I did, and here's to you, Mr. Craig T. Thank you so much. And then there's your drive by, or your swim by, I guess I should say. All right. Yeah. Nothing like a double-edged fighter, really. Burnto says, as far as watches, I've been unable to get my Orient Mako 3 off my wrist. It's the nicest watch I own under $600. All right. A couple of things, Burnt Toast. Don't go away. Orient. I've been curious about that. I love watching Teddy Baldessari videos, and I haven't in a little while because I'm not in a watch buying mode. I'm not in a much of a buying anything mode right now. But he really had my curiosity piqued with Orient. So you're loving the Mako 3. Okay, I'm going to have to do that. Bob's Pocket Knives. Nice to see you, Bob. Good evening, knife bros. My second most important EDC tool is my flashlight. I use it every single day. Olight i3T AAA flashlight. Very nice. Burnt Toast, you said under $600. Does that mean you have a collection with various levels? Curious. Angry Tom says, do you have a link for that Ritter tin? I don't. Jim, I'm not sure if we have a link, but if we do, Jim will put it up. And if not, I will tell you, I think you can just go to KnifeWorks. I think KnifeWorks might have it. I'm not sure, but it goes by the RSK Mark V. So the Mark I is the folder we all know and love, and then the Mark III is the fixed blade, and then the Mark V is this right here. So the Mark V is the little knife that comes. This comes with the tin, this little suggestion for things to put in the tin, and then this knife. It's great little, super sharp little survival knife thing. So this was originally made for him by CRKT like 1 million years ago, and it just so happens that and they stopped making this 1 million years ago. And then when he wanted to start making this again, after he started doing the RSK with Hogue, he wanted to resuscitate this. And it just so happens that the same company, the same manufacturer that made this for CRKT was still around, still had the tooling. So they just went right back to the same old place, which I think is pretty cool. My little survival tin. Ah, there it is. See, look at that. A paltry $13. That's nothing. Now you have no excuse not to have one or two. They come in black too. It's cool, and then you can just put your little stuff in there, whatever you need, to make it through the day. I think I just missed one right before that, Jim. But Rolando, good to have you here, Rolando. What's your favorite knife in 8CR13 MOV? I know there's a good answer. I do like the Spyderco Resilience, the big Spyderco, but what do I have? I have a couple here that I love in 8CR. Okay, so my Resilience is one of them. I have the Kershaw Weston. That's a really cool one. That's a Les George design. My brother-in-law gave that to me. That is really nice, and it's in Kershaw did a great job when they were using a lot of 8CR, and it's got a nice hollow grind, and it looks beautiful. So I got a couple that I still all of the Spydercos with it. Oh, okay. Here it is. Here's my favorite 8CR13 MOV knife right now. It's the Cold Steel 4max Light. That one is not in AUS 10. That one is in 8CR, and it's a big slab of 8CR, and it's awesome. Todd Carr says, today, Leatherman Surge and accessories, SD Classic, Gerber Dime, and Shard. Cold Steel AD10, Kaiser Escort 20 CV, very nice. I like that Kaiser Escort. Benchmade Mini Freak 5th Pocket, and Olite i3T, and Arkfeld UV, and Forrest Hank. Solid carry there, Mr. Carr. Thought I heard something. Could have been my stomach. Doug Bull says, Bob, I have never had Kydex holsters and sheaths. Will it wear on the Nova 2 Stonewash finish? No, it doesn't. It's great, actually. This has come in and out a billion times. This one works fine. I'll show you one where it has. I haven't had Kydex wear in a long time. There are two knives that I have Kydex wear. One of them is by Master Smith Josh. What's his name? Josh. It'll come to me. But he's a Master Smith. And then another one by this prototype for the mini Ruffian. There's a little bit of scratchage up here, but I happen to know that he made the sheath kind of in a rush, and it was for him, and then he sent it to me, and it wasn't, none of his other ones do that. So Kydex, if it's well done, does not have to jack up a knife. Todd Carr says, besides a knife, the most carried piece of EDC gear would be a multi-tool. Leatherman Surge is the most carried nowadays. Yeah, multi-tool for sure. I mean, for me, oftentimes it's it's a Victorinox of some sort. Oh, I got to show you some cool stuff. I'm just gabbing and gabbing. Anthony Kitchen says, what's your favorite inexpensive Bowie? I saw the extra large fix video you put a while back. Depends on how inexpensive. I just mentioned if you only have $25 to spend on a Bowie, get the Rough Rider Black Mule Bowie. It's got kind of a cheesy handle, but if you're enterprising and handy, you can put a different handle on it. I plan on it. I'm just haven't gotten to it. But the knife itself is the blade itself is has a tang. It's not a true full tang, but it's got a tang that goes the entire length of the handle, and you can beat the hell out of it. And it looks cool. It looks like the Shining Mountain Bowie, like the kind of Bowie that same pattern that Brad Pitt had in Inglourious Bastards with that big belly, that classic shape. If you want to go more expensive than that, I would look at some of the Cold Steel. What do they have? Oh, you know what you could get? A nice big, you can get a Cold Steel Bowie machete. That's also pretty damn inexpensive, but also A, you can sharpen the swedge, and B, they're very robust and tough, and they look like they kind of look like Marine Raider Bowies. So those are both pretty cheap. But let me know what you mean by cheap, because like I'm also thinking some of the cold steel Bowies that they do in 3V are very expensive, but they also sell it in that 4113, I think it is, and those are vastly less expensive. So you can get behind the wheel of a cold steel Bowie for think of what's the Marauder. That would be a good one, and that's a great Bowie blade and a great Craton handle. It's a sub hilt, and that's like in the 65 to 70 to $80 range. 65, I think, is closer. So there's a lot of different ranges. Let me know what you're thinking. And then if you can still find the SP10, that's also a great one. The Ontario. Craig Vincent says, Bob, yesterday a senior woman friend exchanged the Kershaw Oblivion I gave her 6 months ago for a Perrin Ladaga, very nice, in a Necker setup, plus a tactical pen for the exact reasons you mentioned earlier. Well, good for her. And I'm sorry she feels she has to do that, but she does, and I'm glad she knows she does, and everyone should protect themselves. That is, it's just too bad that an old lady, an elderly lady, can't just live in peace. She's got to worry about scumbags, but they're legion. Donald Fry, nice to have you here, Donald. My watch of choice is my Citizen Eco Drive Navy Hawk AT. Is that automatic something, or what's the AT? Charged by light, automatic, atomic time. Okay, that's what that is. Synchronization. How cool. After you do its initial setup, you don't have to do anything. Resets itself. Perfect. I've been interested in those Citizen Eco Drive watches. They're pretty fascinating to me, because it is like very, very modern. But you look at it, it's an analog watch. It's just tapping into that atomic time. Bernto says, I have a Mako 3, a Bambino 4, and a Mako 2. I love that you get an in-house movement for a great price with quality Japanese. Oh, the Bambino. That's a nice looking watch. That's like something you dress up, right? Quality Japanese craftsmanship. Most expensive watch is an Omega Seamaster Planet. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's like James Bond watch right there. Rolando says, oh, cool. Rolando, there are a lot of good options out there in 8CR if that's your thing. Look at Spyderco's especially, and CRKT. Isaiah says Kershaw Weston is slick, Bobo. Yeah, that is a cool knife. I've often thought that it would be cool if they did an upscaled version of it. Like if they still had zero tolerance the way zero tolerance used to be, it would be cool to have them do a larger upscale version of that. God, my eyes are killing me. Todd Carr says Cold Steel SR1 Light is in 8CR13. Yeah, and just awesome. Blackjack. I love blackjack knives. So blackjack, yeah. Dave, the same guy who started Bark Creek or Bark River Knives is the guy who started blackjack, is the guy who originally designed what is now called the Shining Mountain Bowie, at least through, but originally was called something else, and has been licensed by a number of different companies, but it's that shape. It's so beautiful. I've said beautiful a lot, but we're talking about knives, so that's okay. Takar says the Cold Steel SR1 is my dedicated yard work knife and occasionally pry bar as well. It's a thick piece of 8CR and holds up good to abuse. So yes, that's the one I meant. That's right. That's the one I meant. That's what I have. That's an 8CR. The AUS 10 is on the 4 Max Lite. What he was just talking about is my dedicated EDC bag folder. This thing is awesome. Okay, I forgot this was in 8CR, but I love this knife. I don't need the one with S35VN and G10. I really don't. I mean, I don't need this one either, but if I'm going to have the knife and love it, this one will do. This one will do for sure. Cold Steel, the way they heat treat, they can heat treat a tin can and make it awesome. This thing will do just fine for my purposes. Robert Strebin, Bob, the splice I have, said that was my second EDC. It looks somewhat like the little multi-tool. Oh, in your survival tin, I think. The main part is the scissors on the tool. Very cool. All right, let me show you guys this. I need to show you this. Two cool knives that I've gotten. I was going to show you three, but the other one I left upstairs, the kitchen knife. This one was sent to me from Jack Wolf Knives. And, oh, that's the wrong one. This one was sent to me by Jack Wolf Knives, and it is the brand new The Benny, and it's a bolster lock version of the. Oh, I left it in the cabinet, but of the Benny's clip, which is Ben Belkin's version of Tony Bose's Lanny's clip, one of Tony Bose's original patterns that is at this point considered a classic. Now, this is my favorite of the folding locking Jack Wolf knives. I just can't resist. It's bigger. It's the biggest one. And I thought that they were all about the same size, but this really is a little bit bigger. And I love it for that. It has a vibe to me that is screaming out for wood on the next go around. Wood would be great on this because to me, it feels like a modern, maybe less, it feels like a modern 110 to me. It feels like a modern, upscale, expensive, less of a boat anchor 110. It's got, it just fills you with confidence. It's got a broadness in hand and a blade length of 3.3, 3.4, I think. 3.3 inches. It's just great. I just love this one. But I love them all. I know you say that every time, but really, this one takes the cake. So let me show it to you with these others. Here, let me get the last one in here. So I got to say, as far as front flipping action is concerned, the sharpshooter jack still has it. Or no, wait, what is that called? Yeah, the gunslinger jack still has it over all of them. I think this one has the best front flipper. It comes out over the bolster the most, I think, of any of them. It just feels better to me. But this now I've really gotten down because when I first got it, it was a little stiff. I add a little bit of knife pivot lube, and now it is just buttery smooth. That cover there is called Mars Valley, which I think is cool. Looks like the surface of Mars. Just a beautiful clip point pocket knife. I love this thing. It isn't just a beautiful clip point pocket knife because it's an expensive. I shouldn't forget this. These are super luxury items, and I don't pay for them. He just sends them to me, and I'm very grateful for them. And but I shouldn't lose sight of the fact that these are luxury items. So I say, it's just a nice clip point blade. It is really like it is fine. And to me, this is definitely one I would save up for. Jack Wolf does it again, says Isaiah. And what I meant by that is, it's like nearly $400, but this is worth the saving up for. They all are, especially if they're your taste. But this one is such a crossover, I guess is what I'm getting at, is such a crossover. If you like traditional knives, if you like modern knives, this one really has done it the best so far, I think. 3 different flavors of carbon fiber, and then 1 cross-hatched titanium, and then DLT has the exclusives with the Ultim. I think this is the second model they're doing the Ultim exclusive with Jack Wolf knives. They had the last one, the Midnight Fixed EDC, was the first one they did like that. This one looks beautiful in that wood too. I love that. I like it better than the Gunslinger. That's saying something. Yeah, well, it has that classic sort of trapper handle, that gently curved trapper handle that just looks great. And then the saber grind is so cool. Heading out, my friend. Love your channel. Great seeing you in Atlanta. Rolando, it's a pleasure. It was awesome. Okay. It was really good seeing you too. And thank you for coming to the show tonight. I appreciate it, man. Take care. Lady Picture Show 72 says, to all the knives we've loved before, who've traveled in and out my door. Yes, indeed. Indeed. I would say keep your eyes peeled, because these things come out tomorrow, and I have a feeling this will go fast. This one will go fast. I hope that when it comes out in a second iteration, if it does, that he puts some sort of natural material on that. I'm just saying, it would be cool. It doesn't have to be wood. It could be bone. I know he's not putting bone on his things, or hasn't yet, but it would be cool. All right, second. Now this thing, I put out an unboxing saying, did they get the wrong guy? Because I was shocked they offered to send this to me. Craig says, Bob, I'm chuckling because yesterday I took my Cold Steel Black Bear machete and turned the false edge into a real one with my new Wen 1x30. Don't laugh. The goal is practice grinding. I'm not laughing. That's exactly what you should be doing. And starting with the swedge on your Black Bear Bowie, great way to go. So Herman Knives of Poland reached out to me and said, take a look at our website. Do you want us to send you something? And I was like, this is a total joke. But, I thought someone was pranking me, but I was like, sure. And the reason I thought someone was pranking me, these are expensive knives. This is like an expensive knife. And they just sent it to me out of the blue. And it was very nice. Look at this beautiful thing. This is called the Ishtar. And it's a very, very fine and refined titanium frame lock folder with an M390 Persian blade and just astounding action and build quality. You can see how well it's weight relieved in there. You got a liner lock. You got this incredible texture on the titanium. I can't figure out what it is, like what to call it. It's like goosebump texture or something, but that's a little gross, so I don't want to call it that. But it's got an amazing texture, and that green is so beautiful. Epic. I'll say epic. That green is so awesome. Look at it next to the turbo I had anodized by the knife modders. So very similar high voltage green color. The ergonomics on this are incredible, as you can tell just by looking at it. I mean, guys and gals like us who've been collecting knives and have so many knives going through our hands, we can take a look at something and tell that it's probably, barring catastrophe, or something unseen, it's probably going to fit in the hand really well. And this one does. It's even great in reverse grip. This pommel is perfect for doing this with the thumb if you ever had to. But, I don't know. Okay, so first day I had it, I'm not carrying this. Second day, my wife is like, you're using that to cut the girls' cucumbers? And I'm like, well, they're not going to cut themselves. And I just wanted to. This thing is amazing. The way it slices is amazing. It's so sharp and so thin and flat ground and just beautiful. It's to me, this is what I think like a Shirogorov might feel like. I've never had a Shirogorov or even experienced one, but this has some of that refinement, I think. Look at this backspacer. I love the way that looks. This clip has a channel, little trench underneath there to accommodate the volume of your pocket seams and such. And it's got a slight contouring in this direction, and then all of that bumpy texture. It's like gravel road texture. It's really amazing. I'm very honored, and I got to get someone from Herman Knives on the show to talk about this. I've interviewed a number of Polish makers, I think 3 so far. And so it's not undoable. They're only 6 hours away, so I should do that. The Knife Junkie Forge GoFundMe donation. Thank you, Eugene. I thank you. I thank you. One of these days, these are going to add up, and you'll see me out there, ching, ching, driving the neighborhood crazy. All right, let me find you something to salute you with. Oh, I think we'll go with. Wait, okay. What should it be? Oh, well, no one's can. It's going to be this. I've been wanting to pull this out for a while. Tonight, I have the Puzon Predator Hunter Bowie to salute you with. This is my one and only work tough gear knife. I want to change that. I want to change that real soon. I introduced myself to Victor Wen of this company when I was at Blade Show. He was a very nice guy, very accommodating. And when he found out I have a channel and a show, I invited him on. He was very enthusiastic, but I can tell he's quite a busy man. Had a hard time getting in touch with him, but he's like, I want to send you stuff. And I'm like, I want you to send me stuff. So hopefully he sends me stuff at some point, but I want to establish that relationship. But anyway, that's not what this is about. What it's about is this giant 13-inch Bowie blade that is so wide. It's like 2.5 inches wide, has so much shearing power in this blade, 1/4 inch. And you can still see that hands touched this and made it. All righty, Eugene Krabs, this is for you, sir. One of these days, I'll be making one of these in my very own forge. Look at that. Oh, man. Dun, 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 dun. All right, some of the youngsters out there don't know what that sound is. That's from Jaws, people. A movie everyone should watch at least once, and it's got to be in the summer for sure. Robert Strebin, here is one off the wall question for you, Bob. How many first aid kits do you have? Do you have one in your car? Yes. Do you have one in your wife's car too? Yes. Also, do you have one that's just for your pets? No. So I have I have for the house, we have a couple of first aid kits that we've put together, just for stuff that we use regularly. And then I got some years back, I got a military trauma kit with a bunch of stuff in it that I need to refamiliarize myself with. I went through it with a friend of mine who is a paramedic, and but I need to go through that again. I have a family pack of tourniquets, because I worry about that. And then my EDC bag has a first aid kit, and so I have a lot of them around, but only one that's like for serious trauma. And honest to goodness, I think I bought it as like an end of the world option. I'm not even so sure I know how to use everything in it or what I would do with it. But I do want to. Recently, I put on my Amazon cart, because I'm doing for work. I'm going to be doing something about stopping bleeding, and so some of the things on their packing list I want to get, like those Israeli bandages or that stuff you put in gaping wounds to pack them. I want to get all that stuff. So Anthony Kitchen says, I'm tempted to jump in with the Benny. There are just so many. Just got the voodoo. What voodoo? Wait. Did you get? I can't remember, Anthony. Were we talking about this? Did you get the Kramer Customs voodoo? Let me know. But yeah, there are a lot of Jack Wolf knives, or there's just a lot of great knives out there that you might want. I am in a lucky spot right now where I am not gushing over too many folders. Like I had my Microtech phase, which was awesome, left me with a few new Microtechs that I love. But I'm not super like crazy rabid about folders right now, which is good to me, which is good. It's allowing me to save up and also to get some projects moving. And I spent a lot of money at Blade Show. Still recouping. So I want more projects going too. I want more collaborations. It's a lot of fun. Frankie Frank says, Bob, do you have a Cold Steel Arkansas toothpick? Thinking of grabbing one. I don't, Frankie, but I bought one for my brother last year, and I had it for a little while, and I did a review of it, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. My brother likes it too. Steve the Ripper says, that is a beautiful Ishtar. Love that blade shape. Yeah, it is beautiful. And then I've seen this knife with a blade shape that's very similar, except it's clipped. That looks really cool. I mean, my description doesn't help. They have another one that's got a Bowie blade. That's really cool. Wow, says Lady Picture Show 72. And yeah, so Herman knives, tremendous stuff. I mean, I'd been seeing other people, our trusted voices, getting them, talking about them, and I thought, it's out of my league. It's out of my league, man. Anthony Kitchen says the Herman is probably my ideal collection top cost knife. It is. It's pretty excellent, man. It's pretty, and as I carry it, I've carried it twice, and it's cool too. It says made with pride. I think. Let's see. I think it says made with pride in Poland in here. Craig Vincent, Gravel Road. That's a great name for that, for a company name. Car wheels on a gravel road. Let's see. I can't get the light in there. I need a flashlight when I do this show. I always forget. Have one close at hand. Work Tough Gear Knives, says Isaiah, are normally to the P's I don't like, plain and pricey, but their quality is undeniable. Some of their stuff is plain. You know what it is, Isaiah? The bigger it gets, and they have a lot of big knives, the less plain they are. I think they're pretty. The big ones have some pretty unique profiles and such. I MMA have to. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to get a few too. It's all Scab's fault. I love that guy, and I love his channel. I get up at 5 in the morning, and he gets up very early too. So I'll be brewing my coffee or doing whatever else I do in the morning, i.e., sitting on the John, and I will flip to him, and he's just like, in the morning, he'll just go show you the knives he's carrying. And then he has some big thing. I love that. He's a great guy, and his channel is gotten very big. So has Donnie B All Day. They're both over 100,000 right now, which is it's great for the community. No, I just think it's awesome because I think they're both cool guys. Cool guys. They deserve it. Where is it? Here it is. So the Voodoo. Who just mentioned getting the Voodoo? And did you mean the Kramer Custom Knives Voodoo? This thing is so cool. If you guys don't know it, you got to check out Kramer Custom Knives. Lately, he's been doing these MACV SOGs that are carryable MACV SOG knives. And I think he's using the same blade stock that he used here on this Voodoo, which is nice and thin, 154 cm, but also real thin handle scales. This was a very early everyday carry for me when I really started carrying EDC fixed blades because it's so thin. Oh, excuse me. It's so thin and it's so nicely double-edged and would just be excellent in a self-defense situation. What can I say? Of course, that's why I got it, but that's not how I use it. Do I use it at all? Not really. You're seeing how I use it right now. I'm using it to show you guys how cool it is. So let me know if you're still there, which Voodoo you were talking about. So a couple other knives I pulled out. This one I have not carried in quite some time, but this is the what's this one called? I keep wanting to say Black Hole. This is not the Arch Nemesis. This is the God damn it. This is the Arcane Designs. What is it, guys? Tell me what this is. It's a double-edged dagger. It's antimatter. There we go. So a double-edged dagger, one of the few. I am now designing a folding. I'm designing something folding and double-edged right now, and I'm just doing it on paper. It's not, but it is a very challenging question to solve. Can I make this folder double-edged and make it safe? Well, definitely, Israel Bacchus did an awesome job on this. It does do just that. It's just got just the right amount of detent. This is created by Riat, and it's got the ability to, through the quillion, you can wave it open right here. You can get a full grip on this thing, and when you fold it, you can just kind of let it drop. And if you follow kind of all those rules, make sure that it's open and locked, and you can use this thing very safely. So double-edged folders should be more of a thing than they are. That is my thesis. Like I'm thinking of the Maximus from Hinderer. I wish they'd bring that thing back out. It's like they made it for a little while and stopped. I don't know if it's just because it's double-edged and they don't sell as many of them. I don't know. I'd like to have Rick Hinderer on the show because I'd like to talk with him, because he's a legend. He's done a lot for the industry. But I've heard some things that kind of make me, really, like ruffle my furrow my brow about him. Antimatter. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. You probably typed it in quicker than I remembered it. I'm sure of that. But yeah, I've heard that Rick Hinderer can be a little salty and a little, I don't know. He's kind of a business wise. I've heard him do some questionable things. Maybe not unethical, but maybe stick up the ass or that kind of thing. Craig Vincent says, of course, Jaws themes. I was a tuba player in high school. The pinnacle of my career was the Jaws tuba solo during our 1977 spring concert. I love it, man. So, I can still remember the 70s. I was born in 71. It was cool, man. 70s were cool. I know that I was maybe for adults it wasn't. There's a lot of crap going on in the 70s, but from my perspective, it was Brady Bunch. Brady Bunch and Dukes of Hazzard. Isaiah Pavlik says, yeah, I like Scab and Donnie B, but you're cool as AF too, Bob. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that, Isaiah. I appreciate that. And to jump off of that, it's like part and parcel of the knife enthusiasts. I'm hesitant to say community. Everyone says knife community. I know it's shorthand, but it really does feel like a community when everyone's together at Blade Show or on one of these live feeds. And I think they're just a lot of cool people. I think knives bring the best out in people, maybe somehow. That's so stupid. Anthony Kitchen says, that's one that looks amazing. I got the crawler. Oh, the night crawler. That is cool. But the antimatter looks awesome. Yeah, you can get it in a single edge, or you could last time he released this. But I hadn't, and I also did a Damascus one, I think, but it hadn't been out in a little while. By the way, this one's great in reverse grip too. You know, I like a little peak there to hook that over. Damn, that double edge is sexy. Agreed. Big Tank ATX, good to have you here, Big Tank. Do you carry your Cold Steel Natchez Bowie? I've been carrying my Sandmine Natchez over my 3V version. So I have one. Do I carry my Natchez Bowie? I've been carrying that. Okay. I don't carry my Natchez at all. It's actually in there. I don't have a lifestyle that will allow it. But I did not get the 3V version because here's my thing with the Natchez. It doesn't need the 3V as far as I'm concerned. The Natchez nor the Laredo Bowie, because they're both fighting style Bowies, and you're probably not going to be using them so hard that 3V is going to come into it. You know, 3V, like the toughness for big fixed blades, for not just for big fixed blades, but for fixed blades and camp knives and things that will be receiving impact and need the toughness, but also you want the edge retention. All that stuff is great, but my Natchez Bowie really serves for that, for my collecting and entertainment, or for that one day that I need to kill someone with a Bowie knife. I hate to put it that way, but and that day hopefully never comes, but that's what that knife is for. And I really don't need the 3V of it. So that's my long way big tank of saying I'm content with the cheap steel version of the Natchez, because it's so improbable that I'll need 3V on it. And the cost difference is substantial for sure. Hinderer wouldn't talk to me at the blade show. Yeah. I've kind of heard some of that stuff. That sucks. Super sticker, Knife123. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that so much. That is awesome. $10 super sticker. Well, since we were talking about Bowies, and since we were talking about cold steel, I think I will salute you, Knife123, with one of my favorites. This is so cool. And this knife is on the affordable side because it is this is the 1917 Frontier Bowie by Cold Steel and Windlass Cutlery. This is made in India by Windlass Cutlery. They are an awesome cutlery company that does a lot of reproduction stuff, historical reproduction stuff that's very high quality, and people might call it battle ready or whatever. So Cold Steel has a good partner in Windlass with a lot of these productions, like the Wild West and the Rondell and a whole bunch of other knives. But this one to me just takes the cake. It is that big dramatic S-guard Bowie, the sort of, or S-guard, the upswept kind of Musso Bowie style here, and then this weird angular handle that looks good but looks like it shouldn't feel good, but is great in hand. I like the way it feels in hand. The whole thing just adds up, and a great sheath with a chape and a throat here it's all metal and good to go for your next cavalry raid. So this thing is awesome, and Knife123, you are awesome, and I salute you for that super sticker, sir. Thank you. And I'm not sure, is this parkerizing? What is that? What's making this black? I can't tell if it's blued or what it is, but it's kind of similar to the SOG Super Bowie I was showing you before. It's kind of that similar shiny, super shiny black, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm sick. I'm here to fuel my sickness. I'm an enabler. I'm also a good justifier. So if you need help justifying a recent purchase, I'm very good at that. Sick Bowie, that's my next. Oh, wow, Doug, geez. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Another super chat. I appreciate that. This one from Doug Bowl. I appreciate you, Doug. All right. What will I salute you with? Doesn't have to be big, of course. It can be something smaller. And let's see. All right. Since that was already out and this wasn't, I'll salute you with this. I gotta always have a Randall out on Thursday night. And this night I have the number 2-7 Combat Stiletto, classic Randall made dagger. The second model they ever came out with, I guess, or at least the second model they stuck with, has subtly hollow ground bevels here and nice sweeps and bellies to the edges, so you can get slashing. This isn't just a stab only dagger. You can get nice slashes with this, and nice slashes. Beautiful handle. This is the traditional commando style handle. That's the shape of it, somewhat reminiscent of a Fairbairn Sykes, and then equal quillions of brass here. It's the classic setup. This I lucked out. Instead of paying and waiting for 5 years to get one. They just happen to have this configuration. And by the way, I love this darker leather stripe in the middle here. That's accidental or incidental. But this was just one of the ones that they had at Knife Center, and I was there right place, right time, right place on the internet, right time, and I snatched this up. And I got it for less than what it would cost me now. So to you, Doug, let's make this thing fly. Let me see this thing fly. What movie is that from? Let me see this thing fly. It's Tom Berenger who says it. There's your hint. All right, Doug. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that super chat more than you know, sir. Look at that beauty. All right. Let's see this thing fly. No Googling. Have a Knife Day says, supposedly, Hinderer only wants to talk to the big guys and not the smaller channels. It has changed my future purchase plans. Too bad. Yeah, that is too bad. That is too bad. I bet you were interested in that cool K-bar his company's making. I have 4 of his knives, and I love them, and I'll never get rid of them. But I'm not motivated, to seek more. Todd Carr says, huge difference in edge holding ability and not rolling edges when using 3V versus 40-34. Yes, I have no doubt about that, Todd. No doubt about that. But there's, I've got a million other knives that I would take and baton through wood, for instance, before I would, for me, that Natchez Bowie is for my sandbar duel or whatever. It's just not going to get much play or much action unless it's that particular kind, which it's not going to. Five Door says, Bob, Jim, and Junkies, I've missed the stream. Five Door, it's great to have you here, though. Giddy about the Nova 2. Happy. You're giddy about it. I'll pull it back out. I'm very pleased. I'm very excited about this knife. And it's a little bit longer than the Nova 1. And Matt Chase is a brilliant knife maker. He's amazing. Right now, I got to say, I'm going to do this as we wrap here. We're getting close to the end here, but I want to show this. Big Tank says you can feel the difference in the cold steel San Mai and the 3V version of the Natchez. Japanese made cold steel blades way better. So I have one San Mai, new San Mai, and it's the Taipan. And it's not Japanese. And then back when they were making them in Japan, well, I have some SK5, older SK5s that were made in Japan, but I don't have any of the 3V or any of the San Mai. Like when they were doing the Appleseed edge on the San Mai, what do you call it? Cold Trailmaster. That I wanted that back then so badly, and that was way out of my league, or way out of my price range. What I was going to say is that I'm really, I'm going to show these off for a second. I'm really lucky to be working with both of these guys on these 2 knives. This is this is Tim's knife, a design that we worked on together that's licensed to him. And then this is my knife being made by but also a collaboration. Look at that handle, a collaboration. And these 2 guys are brilliant. And he's been making them by hand for 30 years, and he's only been in the game for 4 years. And they're both just crushing it in their own ways. So I got to say, I'm super grateful that I get to work with those 2 guys on this. And I want to work with more people on more knives. And I will, and it'll happen. And it'll be great. I like knives. What can I say? I like knives. Like knives. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I've been seeing a ton of negative opinions on cold steel of late, as have I. I think that I have dozens of them, and yet not had any problems. What do you make of the recent criticisms? Well, one of the strong criticisms was from Donnie Bialday, who I know he's got mad respect for cold steel, or at least did. And so, I haven't had the experience yet. I haven't had any bum products. I do have to say I have not ever used their customer service, and that's where I've heard a lot of complaints. Their customer service, and you can't slack on that. You cannot slack on that. Especially a big company like that charging a lot of money for knives. Well, they're not charging that much, but you know what I mean. I love Cold Steel, says Frankie Frank, but it just ain't the same, man. Yeah, I know. They went corporate, man. They sold out, bro. It's true. It's true. They did. But, and Lynn Thompson's sphere of influence there is kind of ever shrinking. And he also has, told me, he didn't sell the companies so that he can kind of lurk over their shoulder, but he's also there to like offer advice and stuff like that. So I don't know. I know it happens. It happens. Companies just go out of business too. Survive Knives. I gotta find out that whole drama, but I know that the dude who started that company and made some really outstanding outdoor knives, I guess he got too big too fast and couldn't keep up with orders and ended up, kind of just going out of business and screwing a lot of people out of their pre-order money. I don't laugh like it's funny. I've been there. I've been screwed out of money for knives. I'm sure we've all been there. Isaiah, I haven't had a bad experience yet either. I hope I never do. I can offer the best piece of advice. Buy new. That is a good piece of advice. Buy new. That is a good piece. Alrighty, that's going to do it for this edition of Thursday Night Knives, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. We had a snafu with the podcast this past Sunday where a guest flaked out in the last moment. And I say that endearingly, flaked out in the last moment. Not flaked out. That's the wrong word, actually. Had to cancel in the last moment. And so we didn't have a podcast out last week, but we will be hopefully getting this guy on the show. He's a great guy to talk to, and you will all love it. But this Sunday, we have Zach Wingard of Wingard Wearables, and I wanted to have him on to talk about designing their very first full tang and the thickest full tang tomahawk on the market. It's really cool, and we talk about all sorts. Their first Blade Show appearance. It's a great conversation, and he's one of those guys I love having back on because I just love talking to the guy. He's so freaking smart, and he comes up with such weird and interesting implements of chaos. All right, you have a great night, Frankie Frank. You have a great night, sir, and have a great weekend. Isaiah, thanks, man. Always appreciate it. Have an awesome weekend. Craig Vincent, night all. Good night to you. I don't know why I'm still drinking this coffee. Big Tank, have a great night. Have a good night, brother, he says. Good night to you, sir. Todd Carr, have a great night, everyone, and keep making sharp things fun and enjoyable. I will indeed. You do the same. All right, for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.